everyone, so today I'm going to be doing the answer portion of my Q&A video. A week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I did a welcome back Q&A, which is basically just me saying I'm back, and if you had any questions for me to send them my way, and then I would do an answer video in about a week. I'm going to start with the questions that I got on YouTube first, and then I'm going to move over to the questions that I got on Instagram. So I'm going to answer them separately, but they will be in the same video. So right now we're starting off with the questions that I got from YouTube. So let's get to it. So the first question that I got is, how many betta fish are you going to get, and how many do you have now? I have one betta fish right now. His name is Louie, and he's right behind me. He's a red male veil-tail betta, and right now my goal is to only have one. Now the next question that I got is, how do you deal with fish loss? Now this is kind of a difficult question because it's different for everybody, but for me personally, which is what the question is asking, is I find that only really time heals. When I lose a fish, a lot of times what I'll do is sometimes I'll make a video about them, but for the most part, I find that the only thing that really heals me is just posting a couple pictures about them and just time. It's gotta pass, you gotta distract yourself, and eventually you'll move on. Dogs or bettas? For me, definitely bettas. I do love dogs, and I have a couple. I just find that overall, fish are a lot less work, so I would say bettas for me. This is why I like bettas more than dogs. Sophie. Okay. How should you take care of your betta while on vacation? For me, I generally have someone that I trust feed my fish for me when I'm away on vacation, and if it's only like a day, maybe I'll just fast them for that day. What is your dream betta? I would have to say my dream betta is probably bumblebee ones, where they're like, or like mustard gas, or like, they're called so many things, but the ones that are like blue and yellow. Now, the next question is, are you vegan? I am not vegan. I was vegetarian for about 3 months at one point, but I found that it wasn't for me because I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but I'm also diabetic and celiac. So with already having some food restrictions from being celiac, I had limited access to vegetarian/vegan foods, and then with having diabetes, it's like I eat things with carbohydrates and sugars to keep myself from passing out, and I found that it's like I'd eat a salad and then I'd get low, and then it was just a nightmare. So I found myself being quite dizzy a lot, and so I abandoned that because I thought that it was healthier for me personally. Are you planning on getting more fish than just Louie? I am not. I mean, one day I will, but as of right now, no. How often are you planning on posting? I am planning on posting about once a week. I've got quite a lot of videos planned. First, where have you been? That's an excellent question. I didn't have any fish tanks for a bit, so there wasn't really anything I could upload, because when you're a fish channel, it's like, you kind of have to have fish, and I didn't have any. I was just on a bit of a hiatus where I fell out of the hobby because I had accidentally overwhelmed myself and just saw it as a chore. But now that I'm all good, I'm very happy. What is your name? My name is Sydney. It's about like P. Sherman 42 all the way Sydney. How old are you? I am 21, and I actually just turned 21 on June 12th, so I've only been 21 for about a week. When you asked this question, I was still 20. But now I'm 21. When did you start keeping bettas? I believe when I was 16 was when I got my first betta that was like mine. But growing up, my parents would have bettas, so I've kind of grown up around them, but the first betta that was distinctly mine, I was 16. Alright, and how many fish and tanks do you currently have? Once again, one tank and one fish. Favorite plant/ornament? I would say my favorite plant, I don't know if you can see behind me, but this one right here, this like green feathery plant, I really like that one because I find it looks the most natural compared to my other silk plants. And I would say my favorite ornament that I have, my sunken plane, because the wing is separate and then you've got the plane and you can like keep them together or apart, and I just find it cool. But yeah, I'll insert a clip of it right here. So that is my favorite ornament, and then my favorite plant is that one right there. Alright, so those are all the YouTube questions, so now I'll move on to the Instagram questions. Alright, so now my Instagram questions, and if you don't know my Instagram, I'll put it right here as well. It is official.betta. Alright, so one person says what makes a good filter, and then they said hang on back filter, and I would probably agree with that. Those like gravel filters, or I'm not even really familiar with all the other kinds, but I always used hang on backs, so those are my favorite, and I would say those are probably the best, but I'm biased. Do you still have the Tetra 3-gallon half moon aquarium? I do not. I actually ended up giving that to my cousin. What happened to your old bettas? That is an excellent question. One of my bettas was rehomed to my cousin, and that was Trinity. She is still alive and well. Now, I had two bettas in a divided tank. They were Campbell and Ezra. I don't remember if Ezra was ever on the internet. I had them in a divided tank, and Campbell got sick, and whatever it was, ended up passing to Ezra, and they both ended up passing away. And those were all the bettas that I had when I officially quit the hobby. All the other tanks were tiger barbs, which I was able to sell, and plecos, bristlenose plecos, cardinal tetra, and some guppies I ended up donating. Then once again, how many bettas did you gold this time? And I would say just one. And what is your dream fish to own? This is going to sound very basic, and I'm aware of that, but I really like angelfish. And then I'm sure like everyone's dream fish is like a clownfish, but I'm keeping it tropical right now because I would never take on the battle of salt. Alright, so that was the last question. So thank you for sending in all of your questions, and I hope that you enjoyed the answers that I was able to give you. And if you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thought it was a pretty fun way to interact with you guys now that I'm back on YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed doing it as much as I enjoyed filming it and hearing all of your questions. So I will see you next time. Bye.